In this video, you're going to hear a remarkable speech from Alex Gurevich. Alex is really probably the best trader and investor that most people have never heard of. I know most people know about Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, Charlie Munger, but for some reason Alex has flown under the radar. Several years ago, he wrote an amazing book called The Next Perfect Trade, where he outlines his general investing and trading strategy. Then, more recently, he wrote a book called The Trades of March 2020. The amazing thing about The Trades of March is he goes over in real time how he made decisions following the stock market crash in March 2020. It really is a great book to read because it can give you an idea of how you can keep your calm and composure when the stock market is crashing and ultimately profit wildly from that crash.
Yeah, it's definitely a big portion because um, depending on what style is you're investing, you tend to face different kind of challenges, but you're always going to feel challenges. In fact, when I feel really challenged by what's going on, I always remind myself, like one of the mantras I have is, if I did not, or like, let me say it like this, since I've chosen a challenging profession, I expect to face challenges. That is, anyone can fantasize about each of your trades working and everything going smoothly, but it never goes like that for anybody. So things are not going smoothly. If you're a long-term investor like myself and some of my trades take years to play out, sometimes I could be in pain for a year or 2 years, just kind of sitting there and waiting for certain trades to work out and things not going my way, even if overall I think the picture is developing my way, but the markets are not confirming, not giving me the money yet. And how to go through that journey. When it is the time when tell yourself, well, I've been too stubborn, I am wrong, or where they say like, no, I need to be patient, I'm on the right track. Like one of those examples I like to give is, if you draw a line on the ground, which is 1 foot wide and just like a yellow line and say, walk on this line, any of us can do it. We can just walk on the line, right? Well, any of the people who are normally able, right? They can walk on the line. And then say, but now imagine that you do the same line over a precipice and make it a bridge, 1 foot wide bridge. Now, most of us won't be able to do it, though actually the difficulty of the exercise didn't change. You still just have to make your steps exactly the same way, but we would experience vertigo, we would be scared. So this is the reality. When you are in the world of investment, when your money, your career, your investors, your reputation are at stake, you cannot completely divorce yourself from all those feelings, psychological feelings you have, and just coldly think about your portfolio decisions. And I guess what I was trying to promote in my book is that you really can't expect to make people purely logical decisions. Or what rather you can do is try to make the best decisions you can while being aware that you're being psychologically effective. And I think in the trades of March 2020, I also try to emphasize what happens, that your professional life is not totally diverse from your personal life. Like if you personally also experiencing pandemic, it's not just you're worried about your portfolio. You could be worried about your personal safety, about your kids being in school, not in school, about vulnerable family members, about just whether you're going to have toilet paper in the stores next day, all of those things that we go through pandemic, and how all of this blends together, and how you can be the best money manager or in general the best decision maker in that type of situation. Well, first of all, I think in the book itself, I quoted something that Winston Churchill, I think, said something, that history is written by victors. So it's very easy to write a book about the year you've done well, right? So when people are like, if there is a year on which I did not performed relatively well, probably someone else should write a book. So first of all, this is an important caveat. I'm very shameless about the fact that I'm writing about the time when I did well. I will write about my mistakes, but I want to show how my strategy works and how like the stuff that what I think was interesting for me. I wrote another book, The Next Perfect Trade, several years ago, and that book had qualitatively outlined my strategic approach. And I realized that I had an interesting opportunity to show how the strategic approach works in a kind of life and tense market environment. And I think the origin of the book was kind of like almost anecdotal in a sense that we did so much transaction volume in the month of March 2020. It felt so long that at the end of the month, I just at some point joked like someone has to write a book about this month, because every trading day was like a month in itself. So it felt like the whole month felt like several trading years, just in terms of the volume and intensity and what kind of swings the markets went through, how many changes happened in just 1 month. And then I realized I could be the person to write this book because I had a very comprehensive transaction record and internal chat record. So instead of, and I think there are a lot of books discussing like stories about trading, and some of them are very good books when people like account their memories of various trades and how they work through them. But I think before we had those really precise records, this is unavoidably somewhat biased. Even anything I write about what happened, say, 20 years ago will be biased by my memories. It's not even precise. But the idea that I actually can comment on events, but I can record events exactly. So there will be no doubt what someone said at this second, how we felt on that day, what was the market doing. That was kind of unique to have not just the chart, but also the record of all the conversations easily available. And I felt that will create a very good way for people to feel the zeitgeist of it. And I felt I wanted to share it especially for aspiring traders. It's like as if you're a medical student, you can read anatomy books, but that was the chance for people to actually walk into the operating room and see what is exactly happening step by step in the operating room, especially during crisis.